Hi, Leila from Merlot. Welcome to Designing an Aran Sweater Lesson 3. In today's video, we're going to cover how to do the calculations for a set-in sleeve. There's going to be quite a few calculations that need to be done to form the cap of the sweater, but if you follow the calculation sheets through step by step, you'll have everything you need to design your own sleeve.
The first step is going to be getting the ribbing set up. This is going to be your wrist measurement times your stitch gauge, making sure that it is divisible by 4. Then you will be doing a 2-inch ribbing. The increases will be done between the ribbing and the elbow area. In order to figure out how many increases we need to do, we need to measure the top of the sleeve times your stitch gauge minus what you cast on. Then divide by 2 because you will be doing an increase on each side. Then you will need to take the measurement to the elbow. For me, I'm starting out with 56 stitches at my wrist. At the top end of the sleeve, I need 86 stitches. That's a difference of 30. If I divide that by 2, I'm doing 15 increase rows where I'm increasing on either side of the sleeve. If I measure from my wrist to my elbow, minus the 2 inches of ribbing that I had, and then multiply that by my row gauge, I have 52.875 rows. I'm going to divide that by 15 plus 1. Those are my increases plus 1. That gives me 3.3 rows. So I will be increasing on either side of my sleeve on every 4th row. Next is to figure out what your design elements are going to be within the sleeve. And the easiest way to do that is to take the full number of stitches that you are going to have at the top of the sleeve. Then you can choose the design elements based on the number of stitches per element. For myself, I know that I have 86 stitches there. I've chose my design elements and they will use up 60 stitches. So that means that I have 26 stitches unaccounted for. So I will be placing seed stitch on either side of the cabling. When I'm starting my sweater, I only have 56 stitches, but my design element uses 60. I will be eliminating 2 stitches per side off of the chart. As I increase, I will incorporate those stitches. In this area here, I don't have enough to complete the cable, so I will just knit those. Once I have enough to include a purl on the side of it, then I can go ahead and complete this cable. To try and do the cable when you don't have enough stitches is just going to pucker in the side and make it very difficult to get a nice straight edge. Continue to knit in pattern, doing your increases as required until you hit your J measurement that we took earlier. Next, you're going to be measuring your sleeve cap. Put a straight edge from where the armhole would start on the sleeve, and then take the measurement right up to the seam of the shoulder. Then you're going to measure on yourself what is the depth of my shoulder. So if you imagine your shoulder is a shelf, How deep is that? For myself, I want 4 inches over the top of my shoulder. When it comes to the sleeve cap, it has essentially 3 pieces. The first is going to be the underarm portion, and that is the portion that is going to match exactly what you did for the underarm of the front and the back. Then you've got your shaping up at the top. The middle area, which is going to be the last row that you cast off, is going to cover the depth of your shoulder. So where I said I had 4 inches, that would be that piece right there. I know that at the very top, that's the depth of my shoulder. For me, it was 4 inches. And if I took my stitch gauge into account, I've got 26 stitches there. To go under the arm, I'm matching exactly what I did to do the underarm at the front and the back. And for me, that was 13 stitches. So if I take 13 stitches off at each side. So now I've got my full 86 stitches, minus these 26 stitches and these 26 stitches. That tells me exactly what I have to decrease on the side of each cap. So if I take 86 minus 26 minus 26 and then divide that number by 2, I have 17 decreases that I'm going to do on either side here. I had said we wanted this to mimic the top of the shoulder. Now, the top of the shoulder for my front and back, I did 8 and then 8 and then 10. I know that I've got 17 stitches on each side of the 26 that forms the very top of the cap. If I eliminate 8, I've got 9 left. That uses up the 17 stitches. So my sleeve cap is going to be doing 8 cast off, 8 cast off, 9 cast off, 9 cast off, and then the final 26 cast off. So that's going to be over 5 rows that the cap of the sleeve is achieved. I know that when I do my underarm, I'm going to be knitting 22 rows. And the top of the sleeve is going to use up 5 rows. When I measured my sleeve cap, I had 5 inches. My row gauge is 7.05. So if I round up, I know that in order to complete the cap on my sleeve, I'm going to be using 36 rows. If I take 36 minus what it takes to complete the very top, which is 5 rows, and then my 22 rows here, I know that I am left with 9 rows. So that will be the midsection of the cap of the sleeve. So there's 22 rows done, and then I knit just following pattern for 9 rows, and then I begin the decreases required at the cap of the sleeve. Go ahead and follow all of the calculations on the calculation sheet and then transfer them onto the pattern sheet.